Did you know that they have found the bacteria that causes multiple sclerosis? Did you know that a fungus capable of producing gold has been discovered? Did you know that a plant has been discovered that kills 95% of cancer cells in just 48 hours? All this and much more today on Colin the Curious. Wait a minute! Would you like to win $300? Christmas is just around the corner, and who doesn't appreciate a little extra money?
We like that.
Today, Colin makes it easier than ever. Just hit like, subscribe, and write a comment, whatever you want. The more comments you write, the more chances you have of taking home $300. Don't miss the opportunity. You have until Tuesday, December 23rd to participate. Share it with your friends and family. Or don't say anything, but don't forget to leave a comment. The winner could be you! Scientists at the Science Media Center in Spain have discovered a gut bacterium in our bodies that may cause multiple sclerosis. This disease affects the brain and spinal cord by damaging the protective myelin sheath of the nerves. This blocks or slows down messages between the brain and the body, causing vision problems, numbness, weakness, balance issues, fatigue, and difficulty thinking. This gut bacterium, called Clostridium perfringens, appears to be linked to the disease because it is abundant in people with this condition. Animal models have shown that its toxin, epsilon, can damage myelin and facilitate the passage of immune cells into the brain. Have you ever wondered how big countries would be if they were planets? Well, let's make a couple of comparisons. The Earth's surface area is 509 million square kilometers. The Moon is about 38 million. The country with the largest land area is Russia, with 17.1 million square kilometers. If the entire Asian continent were a planet, it would be larger than the Moon. The United States, Brazil, Australia, and India follow with 3.2 million square kilometers. Next are Argentina, Mexico, Peru, and Colombia. Some of these planets would be so small that you could walk across them in just a few hours. Did you know that the social network Telegram only has 30 employees? You'd think platforms with millions of users would need thousands of employees, and they do. Instagram has around 20,000 employees and Facebook around 70,000. Telegram is worth about $30 billion and operates without physical offices or large teams. Its 30 employees work remotely from different countries, connecting nearly 1 billion users. Incredible, isn't it? The golden snub-nosed monkey is one of the most unique primates on the planet and lives only in the mountains of central China. Its golden fur and tiny blue face make it stand out among the snowy forests where it lives. Its main diet consists of leaves and fruit which it finds on dead trees. Unfortunately, this species is endangered due to habitat loss. It is under first-level protection in China, and international trade in its individuals is prohibited. The mega airport of Kansai International Airport in Osaka, Japan, a project costing over $20 billion, is sinking. Built on a giant, artificial island as a landmark of Japanese engineering, the airport was designed to withstand typhoons, earthquakes, and tsunamis. However, despite Japanese ingenuity, the airport sinks a little each year. The seabed on which it rests is composed of soft clay that gives way under the colossal weight of the structure. Since its opening, the airport has sunk more than 13 meters. Japan has installed pumps, steel columns, and monitoring systems, but the sea continues to reclaim ground. Sometimes there are situations where you cannot fight against nature. Hey, wait a minute! If you're here, it's because you like curiosities, right? Let me tell you, I have a big surprise for you. If you love random curiosities as much as I do, you're going to love my new channel, Colin Studio. There, I don't tell you 100 facts in one video. Instead, I take you deep into one fascinating topic. Real mysteries, incredible inventions, hidden truths, and things you probably never knew existed. So if you love to explore, think, and be amazed, check out Colin Studio and subscribe. Hope to see you there. Stay curious. Did you know that Universal Studios wanted to create a franchise called the Dark Universe? This Dark Universe was intended to feature the Mummy, Dracula, Frankenstein, the Invisible Man, and more as superheroes, all in the Marvel style. Johnny Depp was even confirmed to play the Invisible Man, but unfortunately, it never came to fruition due to the disaster of the Mummy movie with Tom Cruise. The film lost over $100 million, the effects were poorly received, and the reviews were scathing, effectively killing the Dark Heroes universe. Would you like to see a franchise with these heroes? Leave your answer in the comments. I'll read them. Have you ever heard that some people are meant to be together? In China, one couple discovered their lives had intersected long before they met. In 2000, Shui visited the famous May 4th Square in Qingdao with her mother, while Ye was there the same day with a group of tourists. Unbeknownst to them, they were both captured in the same photograph in front of the iconic red sculpture. A decade later, in 2011, they met, fell in love, married, and had twin daughters. It was years later, while looking through old photos, that Zhui found that picture, as if fate had left a clue. Sometimes connections begin, long before we can see them. What you see on screen is not an optical illusion. It's the hole to the sky, a structure that seems to break through the earth and open a luminous portal upwards. It's not magic, but a work created by the renowned architect Toyo Ito for Expo 2025 in Osaka. This design, called Shining Hat, is notable for its golden roof that appears to float in the air, while its rugged walls emerge from the ground as if they were part of the natural landscape. The structure functions as an amphitheater, but not just any amphitheater. Its surface is covered with a textured fabric that allows for the projection of light shows and mapping, creating an immersive experience where art, technology, and emotion blend in a unique way. Visitors will feel as if they are entering a space that defies traditional architecture, a place where light comes alive and completely transforms the viewer's perception. Did you know that some companies are about to sell smart contact lenses? They could become one of the most amazing technologies of the near future. These devices, which look like simple contact lenses, actually integrate tiny sensors, microchips, and ultra-thin displays capable of showing information directly into the eye. They are being developed for different uses, from measuring glucose levels in the tears of people with diabetes to projecting real-time data such as notifications, directions, or even augmented text, almost like having a mini HUD inside your eye. Some companies are experimenting with lenses capable of zooming, improving vision in low light, or monitoring eye health 24/7. Although they are still in the research and testing phase, many experts believe they could transform the way we interact with technology, combining health, augmented reality, and enhanced vision in a single, almost invisible device. I can't wait to get mine! And you, would you buy them? Let me know in the comments. In the 18th century, it was common for dentists to buy teeth from fallen soldiers for use in dentures. After major battles like Waterloo, human teeth were collected to create false teeth, especially for the elite. These were known as Waterloo teeth and represented a macabre but accepted practice due to a lack of alternatives. Although it sounds chilling today, at the time, it was a practical solution to widespread tooth loss. Over time, medical advances made it possible to create artificial prostheses, leaving behind this peculiar and unsettling custom. In 2017, a team of marine biologists discovered a site in Jervis Bay, off the east coast of Australia. They named this site Octlantis. The intriguing aspect of this discovery is that it appears to be a community of social octopuses, contradicting the common perception of them as solitary creatures. Researchers found between 10 and 15 octopuses living in close proximity in niches they constructed from shells, demonstrating frequent interaction among them. They also observed communication through color change and cooperative behaviors, traits not typically associated with solitary animals. An anomaly was discovered in the Baltic Sea in June 2011 by the Ocean X team. The discovery was a circular object about 60 meters in diameter that resembles an ancient spaceship. Some claim there's a kind of runway or ramp over 90 meters long, as if something had landed or crashed there. Many skeptics believe it's a natural formation resulting from ancient glaciers, although further studies are needed to determine its exact nature. And yes, I know, at first glance, it looks like Han Solo's Millennium Falcon. Have you ever met someone who holds a grudge? Undoubtedly you have, but it's hard to find someone more vindictive than our friends the crows. These birds have incredible memories, and if they get angry with you, they can recognize you, follow you, and not forgive you for almost 2 decades. Scientific studies have shown that they can remember human faces for at least 17 years. If you ever upset them, they won't forget, and neither will their friends. Crows warn each other about who they dislike. Yes, these birds keep blacklists. Thailand has a truly remarkable festival, the Bun Bang Phai Rocket Festival. This festival, traditionally held to invoke rain for the rice harvest, is a cultural celebration that combines parades, music, and an explosive display of homemade rockets competing to fly the highest. These rockets can be over 9 meters long and weigh around 100 kilograms. The fun part is that if a rocket fails to launch, the responsible team can receive a humorous symbolic punishment, such as a mud bath. In Australia, scientists from CSIRO have just confirmed something that sounds impossible. A fungus called Fusarium oxysporum is capable of dissolving gold in the soil and converting it into tiny particles of pure gold. Yes, it literally excretes gold. Researchers discovered that this organism oxidizes gold compounds present in the soil and deposits them on its filaments in the form of metallic nanoparticles. This finding could help detect gold underground without drilling, facilitating a more environmentally friendly extraction method. Imagine looking up at the sky and seeing 3, 4, or even 5 suns shining at the same time. It's not science fiction or a camera trick. It's a real phenomenon called a parhelion, or sun dog. This phenomenon occurs when sunlight passes through hexagonal ice crystals suspended in the atmosphere. These tiny crystals act as natural prisms that refract the light and create bright spots on either side of the real sun, as if there were several suns accompanying it. Although parhelia can be seen in many places around the world, one of the most impressive cases occurred in Sichuan, China, where the sky put on such a spectacular display that the images went viral. To many viewers, it looked like a scene from an apocalyptic movie, but it was simply nature displaying one of its most amazing optical effects. Wait a minute. I need you to see something. How is it possible that 90% of the people who watch my videos aren't subscribed to the channel? Remember that subscribing is free! The more of us there are in the community, the more videos like this I can continue to make. Support the channel with your subscription, give me a like, and leave a comment for the algorithm. In many films, such as Star Wars, we've seen the use of holograms, digital representations of people used for real-time communication over long distances or for medical purposes. Researchers in Japan have created holograms that can actually be touched. This process, called haptocloning, uses lasers, plasma, and carefully directed airwaves. The machine consists of two main boxes. The first contains the physical object. The second box contains a hologram, or clone, of the object placed in the first box, which is superimposed on the real hologram. The innovative aspect is that you can touch and feel the hologram, as well as move it, such as bringing it closer or further away. Selaginella lepidophylla, also known as the resurrection plant, is considered one of the oldest plants on Earth. It can dry out completely and then revive when water is added. This desert plant curls up into a dry ball during droughts and can remain in that state for years or even centuries. When hydrated, it uncurls and turns green again within hours. Its ability is due to special proteins that protect its cells in extreme conditions. It has been studied by scientists interested in biotechnology and food preservation. It seems like magic, but it's pure extreme adaptation. Did you know there's a type of concrete that absorbs CO2 throughout its lifespan? While it might sound futuristic, it's a completely natural process called cement recarbonation. Once hardened, concrete continues to slowly react with CO2 from the air and the moisture it contains. This reaction converts CO2 into calcium carbonate, a solid material that strengthens the structure over time. In other words, the concrete continues to breathe for decades, capturing some of the remaining CO2 in the atmosphere. It doesn't eliminate all emissions from the construction process, but it does help reduce its environmental impact. This phenomenon already occurs naturally in buildings, bridges, and structures worldwide, and it's currently being studied to develop more sustainable materials. Recarbonation demonstrates that, even in engineering, nature has its own mechanisms for balancing the environment. Can you imagine a pair of shoes capable of detecting obstacles and guiding a blind person without the need for a cane? Well, that already exists, and it was developed in Austria. It's a smart shoe created by the company Tech Innovation in collaboration with the University of Graz. These shoes use ultrasonic sensors placed on the front to detect objects in the user's path. When the system identifies an obstacle, it sends vibrations directly to the shoe, indicating the distance and direction of the hazard. The most surprising thing is that the system can be configured to provide warnings further in advance, depending on each person's needs. And in some advanced models, GPS and cameras have even been added, allowing for much more precise obstacle identification. This invention demonstrates how technology can improve the independence and safety of people with visual impairments, transforming something as everyday as a pair of shoes into a smart navigation tool. In South Africa, spheres called the Klerksdorp spheres were discovered. They are approximately 2.8 to 3 billion years old and were found in very old pyrophyllite deposits. These spheres are highly polished with perfectly carved lines, much like a cricket ball. They have almost perfect shapes, and their structure has led to speculation that they could be artifacts from an ancient civilization or something sent by some, according to advanced civilizations, to seed life on planet Earth. What do you think they are? Let me know in the comments. Let me introduce you to the common swift, undoubtedly one of the champions of the sky, not for its speed, but for its incredible endurance. This small bird can spend up to 10 months flying without landing, an absolute record in the avian world. During that time, it doesn't touch the ground at all. It eats in the air, sleeps in the air, and even mates while flying. Its life is literally a continuous journey through the sky. It only descends during the breeding season, when it needs to land on the nest to incubate its eggs and feed its young. The rest of the year, the swift glides, taking advantage of air currents and performing maneuvers that allow it to rest while still flying. This behavior makes it one of the most amazing species in the animal kingdom, a true master of the sky whose life unfolds almost entirely without touching the ground. Although modern memes are funny images found on the internet, the concept is much older. The first recognized meme in history is probably "Kilroy was here," a drawing with a phrase that American soldiers scrawled during World War II. It appeared on walls, doors, bathrooms, and even in unlikely places like submarines or tanks. It was an anonymous way of saying, "I was here." It went viral before the internet existed and is a clear example of meme culture in its analog form. Have you tried any Halloween gadgets? I'm sure you have, but let me introduce you to these electric LED floating candles. Yes, just like the ones in the Harry Potter movies. These candles are 15 centimeters tall and hang from a clear fishing line. They're battery operated, and you can turn them on and off with a wand that acts as a remote control. I've got my secret trick for next Halloween. Would you buy them? Imagine an organism that is half male and half female, divided almost as if someone had drawn a perfect line right down the center of its body. This isn't an experiment or a laboratory mutation. It's a real phenomenon called bilateral Gynandromorphism. It occurs due to an error during the early cell divisions of the embryo. As a result, one side of the body develops male chromosomes and traits, while the other side exhibits female characteristics. The effect is so striking that in some species, the difference is visible to the naked eye. In certain butterflies, for example, one wing may be large and colorful, typical of females, while the other is smaller and differently colored, characteristic of males. This phenomenon has also been observed in birds, crustaceans, moths, and insects of all kinds. Although extremely rare, when it occurs, it reminds us how complex and fascinating biology can be. Gynandromorphism is one of those natural curiosities that seem impossible, until nature proves us wrong. The Santa Rita dos Sapucaí prison in Brazil has implemented a novel project, prisoners pedaling bicycles to generate clean electricity that illuminates streets and parks. The idea came from Judge José Henrique Malman, inspired by gyms that reuse kinetic energy. For every 16 hours of pedaling, inmates can reduce their sentence by 1 day. It's an initiative that combines rehabilitation and sustainability. The electricity is stored in batteries and used to power streetlights, reducing state spending and the use of fossil fuels. Do you think this initiative should be replicated in other prisons? Let me know in the comments. Did you know that sharks have a radar in their noses that allows them to hear heartbeats from great distances? Sharks possess organs called the ampullae of Lorenzini, named after the Italian physician Stefano Lorenzini, who first discovered them in 1678. These organs function like a sixth electrical sense, detecting even the weakest electrical fields. They are so sensitive that they can perceive as little as 5 nanowatts per centimeter. This means they can sense your heartbeat and the contraction of your muscles, even if you are completely still under the sand. To give you an idea, our science still doesn't have sensors as precise and perfect as those of sharks. Impressive, don't you think? In the state of Ohio, in the United States, a 29-year-old single man named Robert Carter adopted 5 siblings to prevent them from being separated by the foster care system. Robert had lived through the same experience, being separated from his own siblings at age 12, and decided that no child should have to go through the same thing. When he met Mariana, Michaela, Robert Jr., Giovanni, and Keontai, he knew he had to keep them together. The adoption was finalized in 2020, and since then they have lived under the same roof, united by something stronger than blood, the love he always longed to receive, and now gives without limits. France has become the first country in the world to legally require supermarkets to donate non-expired food to food banks and charities. The measure applies to stores larger than 400 square meters, which must sign agreements to redistribute products still fit for consumption. This includes fruits, vegetables, and packaged goods nearing their expiration date, as well as surplus stock. Furthermore, the law prohibits the destruction of food, such as by spraying it with bleach to prevent its recovery. This positions France as a global leader in the fight against food waste. A group of researchers at the University of Windsor in Canada discovered that a dandelion root extract induced programmed cell death in over 95% of colon cancer cells in just 48 hours of treatment. The extract acted selectively, eliminating tumor cells without affecting healthy colon cells. The scientists observed that dandelion compounds cause cancer cells to self-destruct, in addition to reducing their ability to multiply and migrate. The researchers believe this plant could target various types of cancer through natural cellular repair and cleanup mechanisms. Interesting, isn't it? A whaling ship called the Hope has found the Jenny. Lost in 1823 adrift in the Drake Passage, the ship contained the frozen remains of its crew. The captain's last message was on May 4, 1823. Without food for 71 days, I am the only survivor. A true maritime horror story. The Vatican is currently waging a silent war in cyberspace as it reinforces its digital defenses against growing threats. The Vatican's Cyber Volunteers Collective, formed in 2022 by experts from around the world, monitors cardinals' emails, institutional websites, and critical systems to detect phishing and spyware. Since the election of Pope Leo III, ideological attacks have skyrocketed. During the conclave, the Sistine Chapel was fortified with signal blockers, drone shields, and electronic document protection protocols to maintain the secrecy of the ritual. The Vatican still lacks a single authority on cybersecurity, which leaves it vulnerable despite the defenses it has erected. The Canarian shepherd's leap is a traditional technique from the Canary Islands, Spain. Using only a staff, shepherds leap across ravines and volcanic terrain while tending their goats. This ancient method combines balance, strength, and precision. Did you know that neural noise cancellation is one of the most promising frontiers in modern neuroscience? In 2025, researchers were working on techniques to filter out so-called brain noise, those electrical signals that interfere with concentration and perception. By applying algorithms inspired by active noise-canceling headphones, they were enabling the brain to better distinguish relevant information from the environment. This advancement could help people with tinnitus, sensory processing disorder, or sensory overload. Although still in the experimental phase, the goal is clear: to train the brain to eliminate its own internal noise and hear only what truly matters. In Turkey, a beekeeper suffered every night watching bears invade his beehives to eat his honey. After unsuccessfully trying to drive them away and losing more than $50,000, he brilliantly came up with the idea of using them as allies. He placed trays of different types of honey in front of them and observed their selections. The result: the bears always gravitated toward the purest and highest quality honey, discarding the lower quality ones. Thanks to them, he can confirm the excellence of his product, having the best honey tasters you can hire. The best part is, he doesn't pay them a salary or care if they form a union. Did you know that in Denmark, there's a tradition that when you turn 25, you bathe in cinnamon? This tradition has been around for centuries and originated in the 16th century, when spice merchants often remained single for long periods of time. Those who reached 25 without getting married were called cinnamon slingers. And over time, the custom of throwing cinnamon on them as a symbol of prolonged singlehood arose. Today, friends and family wait for the person, tie them up in the street or garden, and shower them with clouds of cinnamon powder. And if they reach 30 without getting married, the punishment is upped to the next level, this time with pepper. Have you ever played Twister? Yes, the fun game between friends where you ended up twisted. Well, the game was created by Charles Foley in 1966. It was perfected by Charles Foley and Neil Rabins for the Milton Bradley Company, which bought the license and renamed it the name we all know today, Twister. The game was released in 1966 amid initial criticism due to the physical contact it involved, to the point of being rated discontinued on one box. However, its popularity exploded after famous talk show host Johnny Carson and movie star Eva Gabor played Twister the same year it was released. The television appearance caused sales to skyrocket, selling 40,000 boxes a day, turning it into a cultural phenomenon. Have you ever played Twister? Tell me if you found it fun in the comments below. Did you know that onion skin also protects against ultraviolet radiation? Recent research shows that its antioxidant compounds, especially quercetin, can absorb and neutralize the damage caused by UV rays. By 2025, laboratories in Europe and Asia are using onion skin extracts to develop natural sunscreens and protective skin coatings, as well as UV protective textiles. What's surprising is that this thin layer we normally discard acts as a biological shield, preventing cell damage and premature aging. Even the thinnest skin can become a barrier against the sun. Did you know that a single drop of blood could reveal diseases before symptoms appear? Blood biomarkers are revolutionizing modern medicine. They are tiny molecules of proteins, genes, or metabolites that act as early indicators of what's happening inside the body. Thanks to them, doctors can detect cancer, Alzheimer's, or heart problems with impressive accuracy. Some studies even suggest they can predict biological aging or the risk of certain diseases before they manifest. This advancement could forever change how disease is diagnosed and prevented. The future of healthcare could literally be in a drop. Did you know that Nvidia is developing an artificial intelligence called Cosmos, trained on millions of hours of YouTube videos? This project aims to create AI models capable of understanding and generating visual content from the real world. According to leaked documents, Nvidia used tools like YTDLP to download videos from YouTube and other sites, employing multiple virtual machines to circumvent blocks. It is estimated that the project generated data equivalent to a human lifetime of visual experience per day. Although the company claims to comply with copyright law, the use of this data without consent has generated controversy. In Brazil, the largest underground reservoir of freshwater on the planet has been discovered. This reservoir is capable of storing more than 150 quadrillion liters of water, enough to supply the entire world's population for 250 years. Researchers from the Federal University of Pará identified the Great Amazon Aquifer System, which they named Saga. This discovery spans more than 1.2 million square kilometers, with 75% of its volume in Brazil. This discovery would be vital for water security worldwide. At first glance, it seems like the people around him are walking backward, but that's not the case. Robin Channing, an expert at walking backward, creates the illusion of moving forward normally while walking in reverse, and then plays the video in reverse, making everything around him appear to be moving backward. The Fire Festival in Edinburgh, Scotland, or better known as the Beltaine Festival, is a festival held on April 30th on Calton Hill in Edinburgh. It marks the beginning of summer and the harvest. It has Celtic Druid origins, and people wear costumes and paint their horns to represent the ritual. A procession of the May Queen takes place, in which a young woman dressed in white with flowers is venerated, representing purity and fertility. She joins the Winter King, dressed in green, and together they light the bonfire that ushers in summer. Did you know there's an anti-aging injection that can stop the clock from the inside out? This treatment combines peptides, antioxidants, and vitamins that regenerate cells and stimulate natural collagen production. It works at a deep level, combating oxidative stress and slowing biological aging. It's like giving your body a reset. It improves skin, energy, and even mood. The most surprising thing is that its effects can be measured, showing a reduction in biological age and firmer, more radiant skin. A dose of science that seems to stop the clock. Would you dare to try injectable youth? Check out this igloo. It's fully inflatable and can be moved anywhere. Called the Airquee igloo, it's more than just a shelter from the cold. It's ideal as a children's play area, an exhibition space, a makeup area, costumes. Well, whatever you want. It's 3.5 meters tall, and you can decorate it with colorful LED lights if you want. The coolest thing is that it fits in a backpack. And the least cool thing is that it'll cost you 4,150 Nis. Yes, I know. Something I don't need, but I have the urge to buy it. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to buy it. Have you ever wondered why elevators have mirrors? If you think about it, they're useless for the elevator's operation, but it turns out that before 1930, most elevators didn't have mirrors, and regular users complained that they were too slow. Developers tried to make improvements until they realized the problem wasn't speed, but people's perception of slowness. That's why the idea of installing mirrors was developed, so people could distract themselves by looking at themselves or getting ready without noticing the elevator's speed. It also eliminated the feeling of claustrophobia. Great, don't you think? Did you know that a presumed alien object will pass close to our planet? The famous comet, 3I Atlas, meets several criteria to be considered alien technology and not a natural comet. Its trajectory is not explained by the laws of gravity. It emits non-reflected internal light, it has variations in brightness that suggest unnatural control, and it suffers from a tail, a common characteristic of a comet. Astronomers point out that it does not come from our solar system and is even older. The closest it will come to our planet will be about 270 million kilometers near the orbit of Mars. 3I Atlas will reach its closest point to the Sun around October 30th, 2025. Do you think it's just a comet, or could it be some kind of intelligent life approaching? I'll read you in the comments. Did you know why Friday the 13th is an unlucky day? On Friday, October 13th, 1307, King Philip IV of France brought the Templar Order before the Holy Inquisition. Philip and Pope Clement accused the order of excessive vices and considered them dangerous to the faith. On the other hand, it is presumed that the reason was that the order had a great fortune from its financial loan system, and the church and the kings owed them money, and it was in their interest to have them disappear so they wouldn't pay and could seize their riches. Since then, Friday the 13th has been remembered as a cursed day. We've all seen boxes filled with those bubble wrap bags used to protect things we all love to burst. The funny thing is, did you know this invention was born in failure? In 1957, Mark Chavan and Alfred Fielding were looking to create a modern, padded, plastic wallpaper, something futuristic, let's say, for wall decoration. The experiment didn't go as expected. It turned out to be 2 sheets sealed with air bubbles in between, odd for wall decoration, and it didn't work as a wallpaper. Someone at IBM suggested it could be used to package computers. Thus was born bubble wrap, the famous bubble wrap that has protected millions of objects and provided therapy for millions of anxious hands. Did you know that the Sun's south pole has been observed for the first time in history? The Solar Orbiter mission, launched in 2020 by ESA and NASA, achieved this feat in March 2025. Thanks to an orbital inclination of 17 degrees below the solar equator, the probe captured detailed images of the magnetic field in that region. The data obtained revealed a chaotic magnetic pattern, indicating that the Sun is near its solar maximum, a phase that occurs every 11 years. This breakthrough is crucial for understanding the solar cycle and improving space weather predictions, thus protecting our technologies on Earth. Did you know there's a hotel that used to be a public bathhouse? The Netty in Oxford used to be an underground Victorian public bathhouse and has now been transformed into a stylish boutique hotel with just 2 rooms. This is how they install the reflectors used to delineate lanes and provide physical feedback to drivers when they change lanes. A very strong epoxy adhesive is used. In Japan, the police rarely use firearms. They apprehend suspects using martial arts techniques and tools such as the sasumata, a type of long clamp used to immobilize without causing injury. Chinese scientists have achieved an unprecedented breakthrough. They managed to reverse insulin production in patients with type 1 and 2 diabetes using stem cells. The patients began producing insulin on their own by regenerating the beta cells of the pancreas, which are responsible for producing insulin and are destroyed in diabetes. In initial clinical trials, some patients no longer needed insulin injections, which would no longer control the disease as it had until now, but would begin to reverse it. Long-term studies are still required to verify safety and efficacy. If successful over the long term, it would help reverse diabetes worldwide. Did you know that in Japan, there's a man who spent 20 years married without speaking to his wife, and yet they still live together? Otu Katayama, feeling displaced by the attention his wife, Yumi Katayama, devoted to their children, decided to remain silent as a way of expressing his discontent. But he did so for 20 years. Yumi tried numerous times to contact her husband. Otu responded with grunts. He simply ignored her words. Despite this, Yumi never considered separating. Yoshiki Katayama, the 18-year-old son, contacted a Japanese television program requesting help to resolve the family conflict. The production team organized a meeting in the same park where they had their first date. There, Otu finally broke his silence and expressed his gratitude to Yumi for her dedication, patience, and being there for him. Did you know that Sony developed a camera that could see under clothing? This feature was an unintentional mistake on Sony's part. The company developed its Sony Handycam camcorder in 1998, which had infrared night vision. What the company didn't anticipate was that, in certain lighting conditions, the camera could partially see through some light and dark fabrics. Around 700,000 units were sold before Sony discovered the problem. To avoid a scandal, the company recalled the product and modified the technology, but by then it was too late. Many devices had already reached the market. Would you ride a self-driving bike? Yes, just like you heard. An autonomous bike that can navigate without you driving it. The self-driving bike was developed by Google. It's so technologically advanced that it doesn't fall over. You can call it from your phone, and it can pick people up, and you can do your errands while the bike takes you home. It uses sensors, artificial intelligence, and other technologies to move forward and balance itself without a cyclist. They can detect their surroundings, avoid collisions, and even maintain their own balance, making cycling safer, smart, and affordable. Would you like to buy one? Tell me in the comments. This young man is Zeddy Will, just 22 years old, a young American musician searching for a place in the artistic world and a place to grow. And the reason he's in our curiosity column isn't because his artistic talent impressed the world. Zeddy is a worldwide trend by impregnating 5 women at the same time and holding a collective baby shower with all 5 mothers. The strange thing is that the women didn't show any annoyance or rivalry among themselves. They accepted each other and lived together in harmony. One of Zeddy's managers said, "Society has changed, and with it, the dynamics of modern relationships. Are we witnessing the next shift in society?" I've seen collective weddings and baptisms, but never collective baby showers, much less those of the same father. Archaeologists have discovered a type of sunglasses among indigenous Arctic peoples such as the Inuit, Yupik, and others. The glasses were developed 2,000 years ago and were made from whale bones, walrus ivory, caribou antler, or driftwood. The design included narrow horizontal slits that made them effective against blindness from snow, wind, and strong sunlight. It's fascinating how ancient cultures developed ingenious ways to deal with their problems, isn't it? The NIO ET9 has an active suspension system called Skyride, which allows the car to respond to the movements of some video games, offering physical sensations while you play. Did you know you can create your own underwater goggles using just air and your hands? If you gently blow bubbles towards your eyes and catch them with your palms, forming a small bowl, a mini air bubble is created that allows you to open your eyes and see clearly underwater. If you shine a flashlight on the grass or weeds at night, you'll see dozens of tiny flashes. Those are spiders. Well, actually, they're their eyes reflecting the light. These spiders are great allies. They feed on mosquitoes, cockroaches, crickets, and other insects that are often annoying or harmful to crops and homes. Don't harm them. Picture, this clothing is a brand that turns children's drawings into real clothes. Simply color a printable sheet, take a picture of it, and upload it to the website. They print and hand-sew t-shirts and dresses, even adding the little artist's signature to the hem. This is Bubble Wrap Air, a portable toy for popping plastic bubbles endlessly. What you see isn't a swarm of bees, nor a flock of birds. They're soccer balls. They were dropped by How Ridiculous from a helicopter. Listen to the sound they make as they fall. Did you know that scientists have created a type of ice that defies everything we thought we knew? It's called Ice 21, and it's unique because it forms at room temperature, but only under extreme pressures, something that previously seemed impossible. This breakthrough allows researchers to study previously unseen crystalline structures of water and could have applications in energy storage, superconducting materials, or even the study of distant planets. What's surprising is that this ice doesn't behave like ordinary ice. Its molecules are arranged differently, offering clues about how water can behave under extreme conditions in nature and the universe. Water Pearl is a Japanese art installation that creates the illusion of water droplets levitating in the air. Each droplet falls in perfectly controlled sequences, while a strobe lighting system illuminates each one at the precise moment, making it appear as if they are stopping, rising, or floating. The Remember Ring is a smart ring that helps you remember important dates like birthdays or anniversaries. The unique thing about it is that it works by heating up. The day before the selected date, the ring heats up for a few seconds to remind you, and it repeats the reminder every hour throughout the day. It's powered by your own body heat, so it doesn't need batteries. The artist A Boring Day repairs cracks and worn corners of pavement with interactive art. He uses 3D printing and mechanical toys to transform broken concrete into miniature scenes, like a Lego prison. A musical fountain. Or a tiny toilet. Did you know that some people have already married artificial intelligence? What once seemed like science fiction is now a reality, driven by the digital age and advances in emotional artificial intelligence. These symbolic unions are taking place between humans and virtual assistants capable of conversing, remembering, and adapting to their partner's feelings. Some claim to feel a more genuine, understanding, and constant connection than with a human being. Although not legally recognized, these marriages open up a profound debate about love, consciousness, and the boundaries between the real and the artificial. Today's trip is over. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.